and, well, I'm not really sure what you should do today, Wild Pack, but it's Bernadette, and I'm here with your Pick a Card Tarot reading for Thursday, June. I don't know why I'm all up in June all of a sudden, May 20th, 2021. And let me just, let me get through my housekeeping, because it's gonna be a reading. Strap in for the ride. So please subscribe to my my mind's already in this reading. I've already forgotten what I'm supposed to say. A good YouTuber never forgets those kinds of things, right? But I do all the time. So here's the story. Please subscribe to my YouTube channel. Hit that bell. Ringy dingy dingy dingy. So you get the alerts and you get all the metaphysical madness that is my channel for free every day in every way, all up in your business. So also pick up your copy of the Arcanimal Tarot and Oracle deck. And please know I'm putting everyone on notice. I cannot any longer answer questions that are on Facebook and text and here and there and everywhere. Is too much. And I want to get to as many people as possible. And the most effective way for me to do that is if you will get on over to gatheringofmystics.com. That is my personal forum, gatheringofmystics.com. Although be noted, on Monday, the name does change to wildpackwisdom.com/forums. You don't have to re-register. You don't have to re-sign up. You don't have to redo anything. But I've got to bring everything in cohesively. And as my work in shamanism and animal spirit, totem and power, animal guides, blah, blah, expands, I got to rein it in. And I hope that I hope to do better for you by doing that. So let's get right into this reading, because it's going to take a minute. So here we have the Black Swan inverted, which in my deck is, I had to look at it for a minute because I'm like, oh, the Nine of Swords. Now, here's the thing. The Nine of Swords is just, it's a card like the Dark Night of the Soul. And if you take a look at the traditional Rider-Waite meanings of the tarot card meanings of the Nine of Swords, what you're going to notice is you're going to take a look at how, well, first of all, the good news of this is, the good news of this card is time heals all wounds. And if you'll allow yourself to work with the archetype of the Nine of Swords, which in my deck is the Black Swan. And Black Swan, you'll notice there's not a white swan anywhere in my deck. And I read with my own award-winning history-making Arcanimal Tarot and Oracle deck. It is very shamanically based. It is very animal-based, and it also works with the Rider-Waite tarot system, and there you have it. So, but the only thing to be said this morning, Spirit is telling me about the Black Swan, is that the color black is also often associated with death and anguish and turmoil and just all kinds of negative things, although I wish it wasn't. But it also is associated with power, your power suit, your power dress. It's got to be black. It's got to be this. And that in and of itself has a whole host of potentially negative connotations. And we won't go down that rabbit hole. But at the end of the day, black swans are thought, if white swans bring healthy, happy babies, the myth goes, okay, if white swans bring happy, healthy babies to deserving parents, as the myth goes, black swans will bring children that have a host of issues to undeserving parents. Now, it's a myth, but I mean, what else are spirit animal meanings and animal symbolism, and even from back time immemorial, because I have been repeating this like a mantra for the last couple of weeks, but at the end of the day, for humans on this earth, animals were the first gods that they worshipped. They worshipped animals as gods. So that's where all of the original symbolism and all that kind of thing, comes, that we know today, all of that ancient wisdom. And then, of course, as times have changed, we've ascribed more symbolism and meaning to them, because when times change, we have different needs spiritually, symbolically, than, of course, our cavemen and sister and brethren did. All right, so that's enough about Swan. But that's so meaningful about what Swan represents. It's incredibly meaningful because if you are going through mental anguish of any kind right now, it's a myth. And that's exactly what Black Swan symbolism is. It's a myth. Black swans no more bring babies with issues to undeserving parents than nothing. It doesn't work that way. Now, having said that, I often say that thoughts are things, and so thought forms are things. And so I do believe there are black swans running around out there, and potentially because they've been created by our thoughts, maybe they are, bringing, children with issues to quote unquote undeserving parents. And I want to leave it at that because in the you're going to have to believe what you want on that or don't, but in the context of this reading, it's really mostly about the Nine of Swords inverted. And here's what I mean by that. When you take a look at the Nine of Swords, the traditional one in the Rider-Waite Tarot, if you'll bring your attention down to the right, the lower left side, the bed foundation that she's sitting on, or head and hands, that kind of thing, that is bright red. And that's always a sign of, it can be, the red color can be your root chakra, which means that you're rocked off your foundation at the moment. Red is the color of blood. Today is the heart chakra day. Even though green is the color of the heart chakra, we pump blood, they're red, so on and so forth. And when you look at the carving in the, that relief carving in the bed frame, again, associated with the root chakra, you're going to see that it looks like a murder's going on. Okay, somebody's getting the tarnation whooped out of them, and that's that. And that's what's happening. You're just getting the tarnation whooped out of you right now. Now, having said that, let me say this. When a card is inverted, it either means the most extreme challenges of that card are what's going on. It can mean not now. It can mean no, not at all. It can mean a number of different things. But for the reading today, what I've been told is for you all to pay very, very close attention to the swords and how they're placed. Because if you notice, the bottom of the 9 swords is piercing her heart or his heart, then through the throat chakra, and then right through the crown chakra. So from here on up, it's like, all I can hear in my head is from Ghosts when Whoopi Goldberg says, "Molly, you in danger, girl." And that's all I can hear over and over and over and over in my head. Now, here's what that means. You're in danger. Not crazy danger. Don't freak out or anything. But Molly didn't know the danger she was in because she didn't believe in ghosts. She had no idea what was cooking on the other side. She didn't get it. She was in the middle of an existential crisis, a personal crisis. She thought she was losing her mind from grief, from this, from that. She would not see, she did not at that moment have the eyes to see and the ears to hear what the truth was. And that's where you're at the moment. It doesn't matter if it's this big. It doesn't matter if it's this big. Now, having said that, oh my gosh. So I like to just kind of flip my little deck that I have, this miniature Rider-Waite deck. I just love it. I just love it. And so a lot of times when I'm reading, whether for you all or somebody else, it's something for me to do. It's a, call it OCD, call it whatever you want. I do it. And then in my head, and I don't ever see the cards, but in my head I was told stop, and whammo bammo, now we've got the 3 of Swords. Okay. So, it's a heartache, nothing but a heartache. And that's what's going on out there in the world for y'all. Most of you. Now, will this resonate with every single person? No. But again, I bet a dime to a donut that if I was able to take a poll of every single person that's going to watch this video, is watching this video, they either have this going on or they're very focused on someone else that has this going on. And here's what you or this other person has got to wake up. Wake up, wake up, rise and shine, hello, wake up. It's all in your head. Things are not as bad as you're thinking they are or acting like they are. They're just not. And here's how you quantify that. Are you dead? No. Are you dying? Yes, we're all dying. From the minute you're born, we start to die. Maybe you just got diagnosed with terminal cancer. My love is with you if that is the case. But maybe you found out somebody was cheating on you. My love is with you in case that is the case. Maybe y'all, there are about 1,000 jillion scenarios in this. But you're so caught up in the moment that you are not seeing that swords are never at rest for very long. They are indicative of thought and thought patterns, and so you're overwhelmed, and you're overwhelmed with emotion, and you can't see the forest for the trees. And instead of rising above the turmoil, you're like here, there, and everywhere. I When I'm stepping into that energy, I can't even catch on to one of the thoughts. Your mind is just wee, 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 wee. Now, here something is just freaking you out, making you frustrated, angry, afraid, very much too afraid. But the problem with that is you're jumping to conclusions without having all of your evidence, your hard evidence, your facts. Now, maybe your suspicions about whatever are right. Maybe you were just diagnosed with something. Maybe you did just have something put right in your face that's undeniable and you are in a tailspin. I totally get that. The world of spirit animals totally gets that. And everybody has their own process. Everyone has their own process to grieve, to be angry, to whatever. But whatever process you're in at the moment, it's gone on too long and it's too powerful. It's overpowering you. It is ripping your heart chakra apart. It is ripping your throat chakra apart. Goodness knows it is ripping your crown chakra apart. Look where those swords are blazing through there on that person. That can't be good. That would hurt. And that's essentially what's happening is there's a lot of hurt going on. Now, this is not an emotional process as much as it is a mental process. And that you're seeing things as a disaster, but it's not about an actual disaster. The Kabbalists call this card the Lord of Despair and Cruelty. And it is it's a metaphor for the mental process. You keep processing these things in your head and just can't, don't, aren't gonna. You're just so restless that you are all over the place, and you're having a problem getting rooted, getting your what was it the other day with the cougar? Tap tap, slap your paws, and get be the rock, be the rock. It's that kind of thing, and it is when you look at the squares on the quilt, that balances passion against reason. And then when you look at the astrological symbols on the blue squares, those symbols are representative of questions about fundamental universal laws. And that very well may be what you're going through at the moment, meaning, well, so and such did this to me. How do they get to have this? How are they rewarded for this? But I'm going through this. Yep, get it. But that makes a bad situation worse for you. Let's say that you say to yourself, oh man, this is perfect. I talked to someone the other day that is absolutely convinced they are living in the current hell they're living in as retribution, as karmic payback for a decision they made that they, in their own estimation, not due to anybody else's outside rules or outside judgments or outside parameters or boundaries or whatever, that they are having to pay penance for a decision that they made and an action that they took when they did. And they're convinced. They really think that's universal law, an eye for an eye. It's theirs to suffer for however long, and who knows how long that will be. I don't know that I'm convinced of that. I don't know that you're convinced of that. Meaning, is that what you think about universal law? Do you think about universal law? Do you even know what universal laws are? If not, look them up, because everybody's got an opinion about it. But I can tell you, after having read for as many people as I've read, I will tell you that patterns are patterns. So I do believe there must be universal laws, because it all boils down to energy. And what that means is this. Energy can be calibrated. It can be measured. And scientific proof shows your brain waves when you're meditating, your brain waves when you're doing psychic and mediumship readings and other kinds of things that put you in a relaxed state, your brain waves are harmonious. Dr. Masaru Emoto, with his water experiments, he would play fractured music, super hard rock and heavy metal and death metal and that kind of thing. And the molecules of water would turn into one way, and then he'd play classical music and they'd turn in the other way, which I call sleeping molecules, because I love to love all music, but I opera and a lot of classical music, I can't hang. And then he would play this and he would play that. You get the picture. So when our brain waves, when our electricity is being sent out there, it's going to be fractured. It's going to be frenetic. It's going to be sporadic. And, like the jumping frog of Calaveras County, it's going to be all over the darn place. That's not helping you at all. At all. You got to stop. So, I don't know what you do to stop, except for work with Black Swan energy and the archetype of the Nine of Swords inverted. But everybody's got a different process. But whatever you're going through, keep going through it. Don't stop. Just stop being paralyzed. And I'm not saying that in a flip manner, but everybody's got a different process. And only you are going to know that. But I promise you, if you will work with your animal allies, the ones that you know that can get you out of this place, it's like that. It is just like that. And I hope that was helpful. So I'm going to scooter poop out of here. Oh, Lordy. Again, pick up your copy of the Arcanimal Tarot and Oracle deck. Subscribe to my YouTube channel. Hit the ringy dingy bell so you get the notifications and you get all the metaphysical madness first. And again, PSA, public service announcement. As of Monday, May 24th, the URL of my forums is wildpackwisdom.com/forums, and get on over to Gathering of Mystics as it is now. Register. It'll still look the same. You'll still have the same login, the whole schlemiel. You won't have to do anything, but that is the only place I'm going to be answering questions and offering help and offering, whatever I have to offer you all. I've got to rein it in. It's got to be in one place, and that's going to be on my personal forums. It's free to register. It's moderated. It's a very safe and wonderful place, and I'll see you there. So all that said, most important things are, what? Say it with me. Do good for animals, including yourself, including myself, including everybody's self, and stay wild.